Oh, who's our TSD person today?
Hello, it's Roxana.
Hi, Roxana. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Do we have any people outside of the committee that's joining us? Any public?
I see someone named John South.
Could you go ahead and let the public join the meeting as a panelist? That way they can take part.
Like just any new attendees that join?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely do that.
All right. Thank you.
Need one more person in person, right? Or no, we have four.
We have 4.
That's a quorum.
Does she count? Okay, well, we got the 4 ones. Sorry, Paul, you don't count.
Ready to? I was thinking that would probably be a good idea, like they do in planning, is to page number them.
Page number
And
the,
then you can
okay.
put on here, like, what page that item starts on.
okay, I can do that.
I find that helpful in the planning agendas, planning commission agendas.
Okay, let's call this meeting of the Monroe County Traffic Commission to order on August 18th, 2022.
Make sure you speak up, Toby. The person in that seat, it's hard to hear. That's why we always put Paul White down there.
And Mr. South.
Mr. South, and we have the other one, us.
Yes.
Mr. South, can you hear me okay?
It's mute, you're muted. No, you're not.
I can hear.
Very good, thank you.
And which item are you here for?
This is actually Mark Bettinger, not John South, and I'm here for the Hilly for
Okay.
October 21st to 23rd.
Okay, thank you. So I'll call this meeting to order, August 18th, 2022. First order of business is approval of the minutes for the July 21st, 2022 meeting. Do I hear a motion or discussion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Ginger, can you do, I guess we still have to do roll call votes since we're zooming, correct?
We don't do them.
We didn't last time. Lisa just asked
They did
for the A's and A's.
some of the meetings, they're not doing roll call and the others. And
I guess since we have no members that are actually zooming, all the members are here.
that's all.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
That is a unanimous approval of the minutes. Russell has just showed up, so I'm sure he will. It's join in on the next. First order of business is item A, reduced speed limit on Victor Pike between State Road 37 and Church Lane. Paul, you got
Yeah, I was doing an audit of the Victor Pike signs from Rockport up to that road. And I noticed we had a small section of 35-mile-an-hour speed limit on Victor Pike between State Road 37 and Church Lane. And once you get north of Church Lane, it turns to 30 miles an hour all the way up to that road. And so I thought it would be appropriate, instead of having such a small 700-foot section of 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, to change that to 30. So people aren't ramping up their speeds on the approach to Church Lane, which has some sight distance challenges, and then going down to the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit just past the intersection. So I thought it'd be better to have 30 throughout this section of roadway.
Yeah, I'd make a motion, we reduce the speed limit to 30 miles an hour in that section on Victor Pike.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item D, reduce speed limit on Train Ridge Road, north section. Paul?
Yeah, we received a request from Mr. AJ Bolin to see if we could reduce the speeds along that section of road between Scott Lane and Smithville due to the limited sight distance on the vertical curves, as well as the geometry along that section. And I've been studying this piece of roadway for a little while, looking at maybe or for sign improvements and then also possible reduction in speed limit due to the curvature south of Scott Lane, as well as south of Scott Lane, all the way to Point Road. The numerous crashes on this section of road, especially the reverse curves at Scott Lane and also the reverse curves at Ann Avenue, I think. So I would think, or based on my analysis and the curvature on these sections of roadway, both horizontal, vertical, I would recommend that we lower the speed limit, or sorry, extend the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit in Smithville all the way to Scott Lane, and then reduce the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit south of Scott Lane to 35 miles an hour.
And that section that you're reducing to 35 miles per hour is where they have all the curves. How come you only want to do 35 there?
Well, it's in my opinion, the geometry is not suitable for 40 miles an hour. The curves are rated at 15 miles an hour, 20 and 25.
No, I'm wondering why 30 on the straight end and 35 on
Oh,
the curvy.
30 because of the vertical curves, limit sight distance. And Mr. Bolin has had incidents where he's turning left into his driveway, and due to the vertical curvature, cars can't see him stopped in the road turning left, and has caused some
90-degree turns too. 90-degree turn.
uncomfortable situations. But yeah, the speed limit turns to 40 just north of Mr. Bolin's driveway. And so they're moving at a pretty good rate on the approach to his driveway, and due to the vertical curves, which limit sight distance, there's been some close calls at his driveway. And there's also limited sight distance at the church driveway. And I think a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit would help that situation as well.
So you want to extend the 30 miles, you want to make it 30 miles an hour from Smithville on down to Scott Lane, right?
Correct.
And 35 from there all the way to the Point Road.
That's correct.
I'd make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of reducing the speed limit from 35 to 30 to Scott Lane, and from 40 to 35 from Scott Lane to Point Road, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries unanimously. Item C, update truck prohibition on Smith Pike and Loach Road.
Okay, we are working on the Curry Pike, Woodyard and Smith Pike roundabouts. And had a request to update the truck prohibition on both Smith Pike and Loach Road to reflect the current activity at the roundabouts, and those we estimate should be done by the end of September, if not earlier. So we're wanting to get this in place to be able to get the signage up before the roundabouts open. But currently there's a truck prohibition for vehicles larger than WB 40 on Smith Pike. And same with Loach Road. Those are the restrictions, and we've been our truck restrictions have been going to the no truck symbol, excuse me. The no truck symbol with the no through trucks placard below it. And a lot of our roads like Leonard Springs, Mount Carmel, we've been using the same style. And the reason for the truck prohibition, or one of the reasons, is the ability of the roundabout there at Smith Pike and Woodyard Road is designed only for a WB 50, which is a truck with about a 40-foot trailer. And anything larger than that, let's say a WB 67 or 65 would not fit in the roundabout without going over the center island or hitting curbs and things like that. And a WB 67 is typically a truck with a 53-foot trailer, which is the most common trailer size now. So I like to keep that through truck prohibition on Smith Pike to keep truckers from coming off of State Road 46, coming up Smith Pike and then getting stuck at the roundabout. The roundabout at Curry and Woodyard is designed for a WB 65 or 67, whereas the roundabout at Woodyard and Smith Pike is not. So that's the proposal. And then Loesch Road, the geometry at Woodyard and Loesch is so sharp and severe that it's difficult to get any trucks through that intersection without encroaching on the opposite lanes or cutting across the corners.
I'm sorry, Jim.
You could have a no through truck sign that at State Road 46 and Smith Pike, right?
Currently, it's a no trucks over WB 40.
Right,
I think it's,
change that to no through.
well, yeah, it'd be correct. It'd be the no more truck sign plus the no through truck placard underneath.
You know, living out there, I live off Smith Pike. You know, I'm on that road there every day. Seems to me that the WD 40 has worked quite well.
Well, and
I'm not
No,
suggesting keeping
no,
that.
but I
I'm just
mean,
saying it seems to
Well,
work.
it's got the no truck sign,
Right.
which I think gets their attention first.
Uh,
And then the WB 40 clarifies that no trucks larger than the WB 40, but anymore, a WB 40 is pretty rare unless it's a food truck. You know, the restaurant food delivery trucks are.
But that truck would currently be fine with the new intersection.
yes.
Correct. And any truck that's going to make a delivery on Smith Pike would be fine. It's just we encourage them to use 46 to Curry rather than Smith Pike.
So I guess me and Paul's talked about this bunch this morning and I concur with everything that he's saying. I also spoke with the legal department on what's enforceable. How do you enforce it? What's the definition of a through truck and how are you going to know if that is a through truck? That's if you follow it. None of us are going to follow trucks.
Russell's guys are.
And and Dave said, you cannot just keep trucks from going on a road unless there is a reason that you are going to eliminate a truck on a road because it's a public road. I spoke with like Toby and Paul about the May Road, Leonard Springs. Keeping those big dump trucks off there, there's some curves in there that they can't make those curves and not create an issue or getting onto personal property. So we try and steer them towards the major collector road. Same with, I think, Mount Carmel.
Mount Carmel's got some geometry problems in those curves.
So I guess my question here is, how, if it just says no through truck, how are you gonna keep a WB 67 off that road? It can still go because we're
Well-
not forbidding it.
Right, but we're
What's the?
trying to discourage the through traffic of a WB 67 from using that road instead of,
But they could still
46.
use it unless we specifically say WB 50.
no, they can still use it if they're making a local delivery. It's just the ones that are going from point to point would be prohibited.
Oh, there's at least one business I know on Smith.
Always.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of deliveries they get.
Yeah.
But you're saying if they have a big truck, as long as they're going there making a delivery, they can be on that road?
Yeah.
But
We're not,
you're
we're
saying
not
that we-
prohibiting trucks. We're
Right.
prohibiting a through movement of a truck.
But didn't you just say if they try and do that, they're gonna get stuck?
Well, that'll kind of reinforce the reason why we don't want a through truck, is they're gonna get stuck at the roundabout.
I don't understand now, what's the no trucks sign you're putting out?
Oh, that's the
Tell me what-
symbol, the red,
What's it mean?
pardon?
What's it mean?
Means
Mean-
no
means-
trucks,
That's what it
but
means.
then below, the clarification is no through trucks.
Why don't we just have no trucks?
Well, then that would get into Dave's problem of
Because
prohibiting
they said
trucks.
there's deliveries, there's
Yeah.
people that need moving trucks.
Right.
Wait, what's a truck? Yeah, that's just it. Does that mean my truck? People down with my truck?
Well, we've, at other places, we've said no semi trucks.
That's where I was said, so,
At
and that's
Wal-
when
at the
you said they
Walmart.
could still get stuck in the roundabout. If you're just saying no through trucks, that means that 67 can still try and get through there and get stuck. But if we're not being more specific,
Saying no,
No
no trucks
trucks.
larger than.
like we've had with the WB-40, it seems like that's worked in that. in
Well,
that
we
area.
could say no through semi trucks.
Even if it's-
Appropriate.
Why can't you just keep the sign you got?
Why couldn't you keep the sign you got and change it to a
WB-50?
whatever it is?
Because I would, except for Paul White, I would estimate that most truckers don't know the difference between a WB-40 and a WB-67.
Well, yeah, that's not
You
my
guys-
point. My point on this.
So they couldn't run.
Truckers should know. I think the general.
It's
public
living
wouldn't know.
living there. I've been on that road, every day ever since those signs were up. I doubt if I've seen 3 trucks
You'll
in
get.
10 years.
It's mostly garbage trucks and things.
Yeah, but they're not 40 feet long,
No,
so they're not a problem. So I guess I'm saying, why fix something that I don't think's broke?
well, we also get a lot of complaints from the residents about high-speed traffic.
But you don't do
Uh,
that for controlling speed.
Well, it's a safety issue too. I mean. it's a-
Why not
kind of
add
a-
that WB-40 no truck sign at the roundabout so they know they can't use that roundabout?
That's what I was suggesting on that.
Then they're stuck there. What do you do with them? Gotta
There's
catch them
nowhere to
before
turn
they get
around.
there.
We're calling Toby and having them help get them unstuck.
I think you gotta try to
When
get
you
them.
say semi, that would include a WB-42, wouldn't it?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, we could specify no through semi trucks. We can easily make a
I
custom.
guess my question is, as at some point, we specified, hey, this truck or larger can't go down that road. Why do we not continue with, if we change the design and a bigger truck can go, why don't we just change what wheelbase? Right now it says greater than WD-40. Why don't we change that to greater than WD-50? And keep going like.
Well, you don't have too many of those trucks anymore. Most of them are WB-67s with the 53-foot trailer.
But that's eliminating those.
Well, only if the trucker knows the difference.
I mean, we can't assume what a trucker knows and what they don't know.
But if we say no semis. they
That's
don't know.
too, I think that's too generic.
What makes it a semi?
The tractor trailer.
So anything over a WB-40?
No.
Which is the existing signage that's there now.
And your smallest semi is a WB-40.
I mean, why do we need to change it if it's already posted WB-40 and that solves the problem?
What was the person that wanted it changed? What was?
I don't see their report.
Lisa suggested that I get this updated.
Oh, my.
Say anything
For the
about
new
changing the
roundabout.
truck signs. I just said, let's make sure we have the yield signs and those things, the signage for the new roundabout done. I didn't mention truck traffic. And I mean, honestly, I would have thought even maybe that the no truck prohibition might have been eliminated because we were to design the roundabout big enough to handle truck traffic.
Is that roundabout,
So I didn't think we would still have an existing problem with truck traffic.
is that where the truck can roll up on it? Is that how it's designed?
Yeah,
Does it have the apron
Mhm.
like the other ones? Isn't that meant for truck traffic?
correct. But it only will handle a WB-50.
Which we have it posted as no trucks over a WB-40, and that eliminates that problem.
It would if,
But that's funny you say that, you're building this new roundabout and you're sitting there saying that W50 and you're saying they're hardly ever used or basically all of them 67, so why would?
Well, trucks headed to the industrial park are gonna be your WB 65, 67. They're all hauling 53-foot trailers. That's the common size truck right now.
I think no semi trucks. are clear.
And we could say no through semi trucks or no semi trucks, but then people get upset, well, I can't get my furniture delivery or my moving van.
Got it perfect.
And I think you have to be somewhat more specific. And the only reason why I feel like you have to be more specific in that situation is because if you put out there just a no semi traffic, just because it can't handle that biggest truck, how many more requests are you gonna get on county roads that people want that signage because they have no semis on their road? I want no semis on my road.
And we don't know if there's even a problem with that. We don't know how many trucks are going up down that road.
Virtually none.
Virtually none, because it's
So then
the
why-
WB 40.
There may not be issues, so I want to wait and do some studying and see if we have problems.
I think if you change it, you're gonna increase truck traffic on Smith Pike. I don't think we want to increase truck traffic on Smith Pike. I think when you built Curry Pike, that was kind of the idea, so that would be the road. And you won't have the big problem with people going north on Curry swinging over. It's people coming the other direction. Coming
Right.
to Ellisville, it's much closer. Turn off there at our.
As you're going by-
Than it is to go on up there.
And like most truckers go by GPS, that's how we.
You get the shortest route.
Yeah.
Shortest route. and-
Uh-huh.
But if I'm a truck driver and it just says no through trucks and that's taking me the shortest route, I'm gonna try and go through there.
That's what we're saying. Let's leave it at WD
If
40.
you have more of a restriction, then I think they're
Right.
not going.
I agree with that.
Well, you could say no through semi trucks. It's an easy enough sign to make. But
So can we propose to
Keep going.
table this of the no through trucks until we get the roundabout open and see if there is an issue created after the roundabouts are open?
As long as we leave.
see which one gets stuck first.
If it's saying no WB 40,
Leave that sign up.
Okay.
And does it say no WB 40 at both ends of the road? Okay,
Yeah.
so before they even come off of Curry and try and turn that way, they know. Okay,
It ain't no different situation than what we had before.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I was just trying to get it more uniform with what we've done in other parts of the county.
and I totally understand that, but I think this is a little bit different because we reconstructed an intersection to help eliminate the offset of the intersections being an issue.
The GPS shouldn't
Makes sense.
Maybe the GPS.
And I'll speak to the other issues is you're telling me a quad and a tracks is gonna be fine on this roundabout. And that's what's hurting us in some of the other areas.
Yeah.
But the geometry is the quad.
Oh, well, it's designed for school buses and they've put a big old fire truck on there too, to make sure it can handle a fire truck. So. But the WB 50, it's all over the place. It's from curb up over the truck apron. So it's
Does the test do like a 270 or just all straight through?
oh, they do U-turn, the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, so I would say the longer truck's probably gonna navigate a straight here pretty, it wouldn't be too hard. But it's when you try and go all the way back to Woodyard.
There's your WB 50 going from.
So the problem out
So-
there, the problem's over there on the other side.
That's.
That's Smith.
Well, they tested, U-turn,
So you just said a
All
WB
movements.
50 is tied there, correct?
correct.
So by leaving it the WB 40,
I think you made a motion on them.
To-
Table this and let's see what happens and do a study.
I think that sounds like the most sensible thing to do, just to leave it at WB 40 and then see if there's a problem after it opens and then potentially restrict it.
good motion.
Do you want, well, I've got both Loesch and Smith Pike on here. Do you want to separate those or? Are you okay with the no through on Loesch?
And what's,
So he did say coming out of Loesch and turning onto Woodyard, to
Woodyard
make that
is-
turn, they have to get to the other lane of traffic,
And it's
which
super
creates an
tight.
issue.
The geometry is poor as well. Site
That
distance.
would have to go all the way back. That sign needs to go all the way back out at Like Old Firm?
Well, the current sign is right there at Old Vernal and Loesch. It's the same thing, it's the same WB 40. Both ends. And there's an advanced sign on Old Vernal, I think, too. But if you want to table both, that's fine. If you want to separate them, that's fine too.
I'll tell you both of them. Myself.
I would say.
Sounds like there's a motion to table this item and a second, so all those in.
Who's the first motion? Who's the second?
Joe and Russell.
Joe and Russell.
I don't know, I think you motioned, I motioned.
And I want to say for the record, I'm not trying to go against Paul or anything. I'm just a little bit confused on,
Sounds like.
Changing it.
Your idea in the beginning.
it was not.
Thank you.
Okay.
All those in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
Carries. So item D, add yield signs for newly constructed roundabouts at traffic signal updates. And traffic signal updates, sorry about that.
Yeah, this is just kind of a housekeeping thing. We're gonna have, of course, the new roundabouts at Smith Pike Woodyard with yield signs at all approaches. We're eliminating the stop sign that stops Smith Pike for Woodyard. And then we've got yield signs at Curry Pike and Woodyard. Lots of them, so.
All
Okay.
roundabouts have yield. That's what I thought.
They're all yield.
Inside the circle, you're got right away.
Correct.
Yeah.
Adding a bunch of
So we don't have a traffic control ordinance for traffic signals or hawk signals in existence. No, there's not been anything like that taken to a commissioners meeting.
Well, we've got ordinances that establish.
We have
traffic
stop
signals.
and yield and those, but not. Believe me, we don't.
I've seen them. I've got
They've never,
copies.
they've never gone to the commissioners. I go to the commissioners meeting, I present them. None of these hawk pedestrian signals have ever gone to an ordinance,
Well, I've seen them in an ordinance, so.
not our ordinance.
Traffic and a traffic control ordinance.
I'm
There.
When did you take over?
Well, this is like back in 99 and and this and that. There, I mean, it goes way back. I don't have them with me, but.
We might have
Maybe I
stop
do.
signs.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So it's another double,
You got two double roundabouts.
like right.
Dog phone.
There you go.
Oh,
Now here's the record of the other signal ordinances. Dates.
no.
So why would we be, I've never seen that if I didn't do these.
Well, I'm just cleaning up what's on
You want
record.
those? I
Yeah,
don't think she's ever had a copy.
I've never seen them.
Although, I got those from Laura. Well, anywho.
So why is a hawk pedestrian signal on here?
It's a traffic control device along with the traffic signals.
Interesting.
Well, I got that from Laura and noticed that it was dated, so I thought it would be appropriate to update it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so. 'Cause I don't know if, you ran a red light, somebody could say, well, this is established in your ordinance, you can't write me a ticket. So that's the only reason. It was just that I got that from Laura, I noticed things are out of date. And I was just looking to get things updated.
So this ain't all just towards the roundabout area, there's also.
Well, it's two parts. It's traffic signal updates and then updates at the roundabouts. Because, for example, we did eliminate the
That ordinance.
traffic signal at Curry Pike and Woodyard Road, so that comes off our traffic signal. And recently, we had a new traffic signal at Roar Road and Walnut Street Pike, so that would get added. So this would get us up, and then we had two traffic signals that are no longer ours, but they're the city's maintenance responsibility, so that's in there as well. And there were some, I wouldn't say typos, but terminology that was somewhat dated on the names of a couple of the locations.
I'll have to plead ignorance. What is a halt pedestrian signal?
Where you press those, the
trail.
pedestrian comes up and crosses at the trail.
Trail crosses.
Okay. I just never didn't know the term halt.
So we've had yield signs that construct roundabout. That's just the one, Profile Parkway is all we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Around that roundabout.
I'll make yield signs for Profile Parkway roundabout.
Second.
What about the rest of it? There's also got traffic signal updates as well.
Where else that is.
Item.
Well, a whole bunch on this.
So
Yeah.
I approve all the updates. and-
All this stuff.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, that's- Now what do you think? Joseph?
Lord.
Now, what?
Then all traffic signal updates.
Put them everywhere.
I second your motion if it includes all of us.
All right, we got a motion in a second, and I agree as well, so.
Good
All those in
cleanup.
favor, say
Their
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against,
That ordinance is
motion carries
23 years
as
old. None of us
presented,
have ever seen
unanimous.
that funny. 23 years old.
Okay.
22 years old.
Annual Hilly Hunter Weekend, item E.
Paul's favorite subject.
Mark is not Mr. South, but I see Mr. South.
Mark
Can't remember your
Bettinger.
name, Mark.
Mark Bettinger, yes.
Yeah, Mark.
Are you still awake?
Yes, I'm still awake. Interesting discussions there.
You're very confident.
Sometimes we forget we have public.
No, not a problem. So, what do you need from me at this point? You've got the start dates. I've provided the maps of the route and the locations for the rest stops. Are there other questions I can answer?
St. Louis.
So the certificate of insurance names the owner, Board of Commissioners.
Oh, you're right, it does.
So do you have another certificate of insurance that names the Monroe County Commissioners by chance? Is the one we
There
have?
should be one. I asked for both Owen County. Is it further down in the same file? If not, I know it was generated and I can get that to you.
Well, that's.
Yeah, it looks like that's something we would need. I think that's the only one we've got is.
Yeah, Olin County is the only one we have, Mark.
Okay, well, I will go find that and get that to you. I'm not sure. I had sent this on to Agata Mayan, so I'm not sure what happened in that interim, whether I didn't get the right thing to her, but we did ask to have that generated.
I think most of us are familiar with this event and have been around long enough. Is there anything different this year, Mark?
You're muted again, Mark.
Yeah, you're muted.
Sorry. The rest stop for the end of Saturday and midday on Sunday has been moved down the road just a little bit to the the Stone Age Institute. So we've got a little bit more space there. And the other is we are avoiding a rather rough section of Burma Road before Wampler. So it's going a little further south to avoid that section. Other than that, we're keeping about pretty close to last year's route. The one thing I was hoping is that Paul Satterley would be able to talk to the highway department to maybe get some of the road near Mount Tabor Road patched a little bit better. There's a section next to the reserve there. I know next year we may have to abandon this entirely, but a lot of
Which
people
road
like
are you
Mount
talking
Tabor-
about?
Excuse me?
Which road?
It's just north of Mount Tabor.
I think it's
There's a
Brighton.
reserve there.
Right.
Oh,
Is
right.
that Brighton, Mark?
Yeah, near Brighton. I believe it is actually Brighton Road there.
Yeah, we can probably do some patching, but it's tough to go put a lot of money into Brighton Road.
Yeah. So when I looked at it, Mount Tabor Road, if you go to the northeast instead of the northwest, that looked to be a little worse than Brighton Road. So, which is why we had continued with Brighton. We would use Bottom Road, but that has a mile of gravel in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, another change is because of the roundabout construction, they're gonna run down Hart Straight to Vernal Pike
Oh, yes.
instead of going Woodyard all the way to Vernal Pike, or from Ratliff to the Vernal Pike on Woodyard.
Yeah.
There's,
And
that's the difference.
this year, with the Cascades being open, we're going to try and route the majority of the traffic down through the Cascades instead of Kinzer Pike.
It's supposed to be open like the first week of October, October 8th.
What?
No, October 22nd and 23rd.
No, I was saying Bottom Road was supposed to be open around October 8th.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, they closed it August 8th and they've got 60 days to complete their construction there. So it should be open by October 8th, but we'll keep an eye on that as well.
They're not using any sample.
No sample, no Simpson Chapel.
Correct.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah, Paul was kind enough to provide us a list of some of the construction projects in the area so that we could work on rearranging the route a little bit as necessary. So again, I guess the other change is making a little more use heading up to Buskirk Road. Yeah, up around Denver, yeah.
So is Buskirk still on the route?
Buskirk is still on the route.
Okay. I think that's where Buskirk, they had one crash. Is it just one crash last year?
As far as I know, it was just only one crash that I was told about, and they had to pick somebody up.
Yeah, they hit some gravel
Hmm.
leftovers from a patch. I mean,
I'm not sure if it was that or if it was just a little overeager on the downhill.
yeah, it's pretty easy to speed on that section.
Yeah, and
Down the
we,
downhill
yeah,
section there.
and we warned people about that. There was specific signage up there telling them about it. But we can only do so much to try and slow people down and warn them. We try our best.
Yeah, Toby, the road conditions I thought were pretty manageable.
Marty always tries to get around the whole path and tries to get things patched up, but again, they're just patches and I know bicycles.
Yeah, for us, I know you've explained that Wampler and Brighton are not, they tend to be towards the bottom of the list, but many of the other roads you have improved for us, which we appreciate. So,
Yeah, what you need to do is get the list of our newly paved roads and use those.
well, maybe that might be worthwhile. That would be worthwhile.
Yeah. Well, I'll move to approve, just conditioned upon receiving the certificate, which names the Monroe County Board of Commissioners.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries unanimously.
I will go ahead and get that to Ginger for your records. Does that work?
That works. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You have a great afternoon and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the route, Paul.
All right, we'll see you.
Okay.
Item F, 2020 and 2021 crash.
120. Nice picture.
Anybody present on this?
Where's the intern? Where's you go to school?
I mean, I think the crash reports are pretty self-explanatory when we bring them to you. We finally got them updated after the COVID kind of put us off a year. We are required to do this and we send it to the MPO. It helps us to qualify for HSIP funding, which is Highway Safety Improvement funds. We're using this for future projects such as like Dillman Road, Old 37 South intersection improvements. We use this as a good resource for Paul uses it a lot too, to check the signage and maybe make them
See where it needs to
Low cost.
go look at signage, yeah.
low cost
Yeah, for
changes.
example, Victor Pike and Mount Tabor were kind of picking up on the crash history, so I've done a inventory of those signs and gonna make a few upgrades on a couple of locations, so it's helpful to find some of
It's cool to
the
get.
road segments
hear
that
the
are
difference on two
being
reports.
problematic.
And it's nice to see when the intersections that you do make the improvements on, eliminate from the list, of course. Smith Pike and Curry Pike and Woodyard Road is probably one that we hope will not be on there at all after this year.
Well, it looked like-
Let's hope so.
Yeah, by the townships, it really went down 2019, 20.
Well, in 2020 was COVID
Yeah,
here,
they had the COVID, so a lot of the traffic volume around, so.
probably changed some stuff there, but
You know, so that people driving with COVID.
Well,
With their masks.
Yeah.
Here with the man.
yeah, there was less driving, but there was higher speeds throughout.
well, and if you look at
Less
like
traffic.
the intersection crashes, like Curry and Vernal's at the top of the list, but like, Paul gets with the signal company, makes sure everything's working. If there's adjustments that need to happen to those, I think we've upgraded equipment at those intersections. Curry is probably still our,
Yeah, the top two crash roads in this county are, you can probably guess, Curry Pike and Fairfax.
Fairfax is really improved.
Well,
Need to let that road go a little more, just want potholes in it, slow them down.
there you go. Yeah.
hopefully maybe with our Vernal Pike connector road, it'll take out the traffic off of Curry too.
Yeah, Curry is just basically, it's a volume problem. But a lot of the uncontrolled access driveways and the shopping center driveway, I'd like to do something about, but it's right in that city county transition area. And you don't really want to put a whole lot of money into the city's roadway. But that area between Jonathan and State Road 48 is a really big problem in terms of crash history.
CVS area. Where done?
Well, you got people, in the left lane, southbound left lane, turning left in that shopping center. Crashing there all the time, people pulling out.
You mentioned Dillman Road. What's the improvement that's planned there? Or the-
So actually, we just did a kind of a preliminary report there. And maybe we could be looking at eliminating the hill, traffic signal roundabout. So we're just kind of Old 37 and Dillman Road. Just trying, it's kind of really preliminary right now where we just started in the last year. So just kind of looking at all the options. We've done everything we can as lower options. I think actually what we had decided to do is in this next NDOT NOFA call. Apparently, it stated that they have a lot of HSIP money that's outside of going through our MPO because it's on the borderline of our MPO. And that's very competitive money with the city to be able to try and get. So we think we're going to do a NOFA application for federal funding it would be 90% funded through the state. We've kind of sent the project. We've done everything we need to do on our end. You're supposed to have a road safety audit done and completed. We did that in 2012. And then we have the newest report from our consultant that put together. So I think in November, we're going to do a NOFA application to try and get that 90% funded to construct it.
And that's most likely a roundabout on Old 30.
I think that was
That's
the-
kind of how it's
the-
leaning, the kind of the study is showing that.
I think you'd have to get that.
How big of a truck? do you
that
think?
little cut thing. Well, I think you'd have to cut the hill on it too.
You're on Gilman going east, turn on 37, that's.
It's awful. And it's a lot of trucks and
Well-
sanitation department and going cutting across through there. But now
NDOT's
37.
gonna be putting a J-turn restriction there at Dillman and 37.
yeah, I think that they were probably supposed to do that 2 years ago, but I think it got set back.
Called a
A
J-turn,
J-turn.
they'll limit.
Like over on the bypass,
it'll
like
by-
where that hotel is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting a J-turn in there. but it's a little fancier than what they've got currently. And so you can't go across the highway or turn left, so you'll have to turn right, go down the road, full U-turn and come back and either go straight or turn right.
Hopefully that eliminates some of that truck traffic there.
But the challenge is, it's not good for pedestrians or cyclists, so that's another obstacle that has to be.
But that roundabout would have to be pretty good size, over 37 because there's a lot of truck traffic. Again, they do
And be
GPS.
costly too.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
If you can get 90% funding for it and eliminate the hill and do a roundabout there, that's a good, and that's what we use these crash reports for a lot.
it's usually, you know, the 2.5 million range as well.
I think our guys are gonna take the paper down there next week and do some patching on them as well. Between 37 and Fairfax.
Fairfax, yeah. It's
A little bumpy.
But yeah, no, you know, because we've done improvements, constant improvements since 2012. And the crashes are like 5, 6 every year. And
Really have the,
you throw some injuries in there and it's not a good situation. So it's not curing itself.
The one thing you could do is improve the Church Lane Fairfax and then close that little segment.
I would love to close that segment. That was
Well,
my,
but if you basically.
Yeah, that's actually been talked
If you
about.
go up and you essentially go to the stoplight where, you know, Church, or I guess it's Victor hitting
We
this.
just need to be
I
adding.
mean, that connects to Church. I mean, if you made that a much smoother path across there, I mean, a lot of that traffic would shift a half mile up.
Now, a lot of it is
It's just-
coming from that area, getting on 37, so they can go south on 69.
But you can, Victor, if you,
Serve
yeah, I think.
similar.
yeah, I mean, we'd take out the S curve, you know, at Rogers Street and clean that up a bit.
Full blown intersection improvement there at Church and Victor too.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I would improve that and,
Oh,
but-
Church and Victor.
but then you
The
could
problem is-
slows down that little stub.
37 and Victor is nasty. There've been a lot of fatalities there too. So that's,
We with the stoplight even.
mhm.
So
And even old 37 is a high crash fatality location too.
where it hits 4-lane 37.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Dillman's kind of on the uptick of the crash.
Well, people go fast down there. I mean, they're zooming fast on the interstate.
Yeah, they are. And a lot of the volume and there's a lot of decision making trying to get across that. So that's why they're going to the J turn. I don't know what they could do at Victor and old 37, but it's, you know, it's the first traffic signal coming into town is always your big problem. Because people haven't seen a signal since Bedford. And then, you know, come the other way, Victor is, you know, they're coming off an interstate and that's the first signal coming the other way. And those are routinely high crash locations.
All right, well, any other discussion? Okay, next meeting, September 15th. We're working on trying to get that meeting out at the highway garage in our new conference room. So hopefully we'll have it done at that. The offices are done, everything's done. We're just working on your cabling issues. You guys are probably talking about. What about here?
We get the rates or?
Can you have some?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can email them to you. Yeah.
You not get these, you know, yeah, I might have it.
It is
Motion to
the
adjourn?
Attachment.
All those in favor? Aye.
You have a problem?
I can pay them.
Lisa, is this your pen?
Oh, thank you. Mine's three.
2020 and 2021. They just do right here.
How's your truck look?
2018.
It just has a 3-year thing.
Okay, come on.
They just did 2 years.
Did you just send one with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another guy.
That's why.
That's why you're all banged up.
Why it's all banged up.
Have a knee replaced.
Hey, Google his name. I was reading it on you.
It's fine, y'all can go out there next.